So we're going on now next that third chapter, and it's called Shaping a Young Life. So now that we've already studied the frameworks of committing to the basic framework for God's design for the family, it is now time to begin the process of working out God's design in our everyday family lives. Now that can be difficult for a lot of us. We've grown up against God's pattern for the natural home. But for example, in the West today, a child centered philosophy dominates much of our culture. It calls for little, if any, use of authority in shapes of the lives of our children. Another example is the Navajo Indians. Many of them believe in little or no discipline of their children. How are we to go about shaping the lives of our children? Cultures are all different and each carries its own emphasis. And within cultures, families are different as well. With different ways they raise them, different values and morals, ethics. Each is a unique blend of the father and mother, which they're with their own heritages. Thing, Things then get even more complicated. What if the children don't want to obey their parents? Because children could be rebellious. They don't want to listen. They want to do their own thing. What if they don't want to become Christians and accept the first principles of the faith? Many believe that we're not to exercise any authority in shaping their lives, but we must let them choose for themselves. All right, so let's look at another household text, and it's Colossians chapter 3, verses 20 to 21. So it's a short, it's not that long. And it allow us to determine how to go about the process of shaping the lives of our children so that they will live and develop within God's design. So that's basically in resume, just to shorten it up and make it easier for you guys, is that, you know, children aren't easy. Not everyone wants to follow God's plan, God's promise for us. So navigating through collisions, chapter 3, verses 20 to 21 will give us an insight on how truly we can get to understand and be able to form and have an idea how to navigate in God's design. Alrighty, so let's go into our Bibles, or if you guys have a Bible app, just like I do, let's open and go to Colossians chapter 3, verses 20 through 21. And it says, children, obey your parents in everything, for this pleases the Lord. Fathers, do not embitter your children, or they will become discouraged. Mm. That's For me, it's powerful because it takes two to tango. He's saying, he's saying, children, obey your parents and everything. Everything doesn't mean if it's morally or spiritually right. So there's that conflict, right? But it also says that fathers do not embitter your children or they'll become discouraged. There's a difference between embittering and disciplining them correctly. Now we're going to get more into that. So, the first question that we have for this chapter is, what is the essential responsibility of children in this passage? All right. The essential responsibility of children in this passage is to obey their parents in everything. This obedience is emphasized as pleasing to the Lord, meaning that the children, they're the foundation. And in order for them to grow, they are to obey and listen to their fathers, to be able to develop and gain an understanding and also mold themselves in the faith, because fathers are the ones, and at least in the biblical sense, the ones that are leaders, the ones that show and teach and educate their children about love, religion, being empathetic, strong. So the second question is, what is implied responsibility of the parents? The implied responsibility is not to embetter their children. That's what's clearly said in the text. Basically, don't do too much. Don't don't make them want not to learn. It should be positive. And being able to give the children energy to want to learn. So the question for number 3 is, what warnings does Paul give fathers in shaping the lives of children? He's just saying that he doesn't, just to simplify, because the word embitters goes on and on, but to make it more understanding for you or whoever is watching, it means that fathers should avoid harsh, overly critical, or unfair treatment that could lead to feelings of bitterness and discouragement. Meaning, to be loving, kind, to be merciful, patient with their children, so they could be eager to learn, so they could say, oh, okay, dad is not mean. Dad doesn't just want to judge me for everything. He actually wants to learn, and now make the child want to learn as well. So number 4 is, what is the significance of not heading to the sorry, heeding to the warning, and how might failing to heed the warning work itself out in your life? The overall significance of it all is that it can lead to emotional and psychological discouragement of children, meaning that they may become rebellious. They may not want to follow and listen to the parents, that they might struggle with mental health and self-esteem issues that may not be exactly, how do I frame this, following God's promise, basically. That's the only way I can the only way I can really simplify it. So, and that is scary, because no one wants to raise kids that are challenging, that are difficult, that are resentful, that are negligent towards their parents. And that also be hard for the parents as well, because they only want to put their best foot forward. So, but also goes back to heeding to the warning, like, hey, be careful, because kids can be like this if you don't treat them with the right love, patience, kindness, and everything. They can follow a path that may not be right unto the eyes of the Lord. Meaning that, like I said, it takes two to tango. One person has to be willing to say, because I want them to be like this, I need to be like this. Get me? Righty. So we're going to be moving on to chapter 4. All right. We're going to see how this develops more, so you can grab a better understanding of how the Christian family can get strengthened, and how the framework of God's design can strengthen everyday families. All right. See you in the next chapter. All right.